everybody. Today I am going to be talking all about how to save time with a blog writing checklist. So I use a blog writing checklist with all of my posts, and I really wanted to kind of show you guys exactly how I do that so that you could also put a blog writing checklist into your workflow. So I'm going to actually walk you guys through the exact checklist that I use every time I create a blog post, but you really don't have to do it exactly like I'm doing it. Just use this as an example or as inspiration to help you create your own checklist or system that will help you create blog posts easier and faster in the future. So I'm going to walk you through all the steps that I do kind of through the checklist that I use whenever I'm going to write a post. So the very first thing that I do before anything else is I identify the theme or goal. So for example, I recently wrote a post, how to create an awesome and super easy content marketing plan. And basically how the workflow or checklist for that post started is I knew that I wanted to talk about something related to writing or content because this month I'm discussing that theme in my Facebook group, and I have a guest expert coming in to talk about ghostwriting and writing for clients. So not all of my content has to do with an overarching theme, but usually the decision of what I'm going to write about, I'm not just like, oh, I'm going to pick like this random topic. It really is based on something else. So either I'm focusing on a specific theme, or I'm launching something that I want to create content for, or something that I'm doing in my marketing is sort of helping me pick whatever topic I'm going to write on. So once I know that goal or theme, I then choose my more specific topic idea. So for this, I usually either sort of just come up or think of a topic idea that I think would fit in well with the theme, or I will reference my running list of content ideas. And I actually talk about this list a lot in my blog post, how to come up with amazing ideas for your content marketing strategy. I have this spreadsheet, and I actually give you the template in the post if you do want to download it. But basically this spreadsheet is where I put all of my content ideas, and this is where I would go to pick that idea. So I store all the ideas in there, and then whenever I need to pick a topic, I just go through the spreadsheet and kind of pick one that sparks my interest or is just something that I think would make a good blog post for the time. So next, I choose the SEO keyword phrase. So I actually have a tutorial on how I do this specifically in my systematic marketing school if you're curious, but I use the tool KW Finder to pick the SEO keyword. And then next, I write the title. So once I know whatever that keyword phrase is going to be, which is kind of like what I need to know in order to write the title, I then use the CoSchedule Headline Analyzer tool to come up with a more refined actual title of whatever the blog post is going to be. Next, I write the outline. So sometimes this is already created. In my content ideas spreadsheet, I have like drafts of posts. Sometimes when I get an idea for a piece of content, it's like based on something, so I want to jot down a couple of ideas. So I basically already have that in a Google Doc. So I might already have a rough outline of what I want the content to look like, or I will create one at that time. So then, or sometimes I just write the post at that time without even having an outline. And sometimes I like to do it this way if it's more technical or just have like a burst of inspiration and I want to jump in and just write the posts. Or what I will do is write an outline of what I want the post to look like, and then I send it over to my copywriter to kind of finalize it and flesh it out. I'm actually really bad at writing introductions and conclusions to my blog posts. So a lot of the time I'll write or heavily outline the middle of the post and then send it over to her to finalize, and then she'll also come up with the introduction and the conclusion for the post. Another way that I sometimes do it is I will record a voice memo of me basically walking through the blog post and what all I want in the post. And this is perfect if I have to drive somewhere. I'll just turn on the voice memo app on my iPhone and record myself walking through the post, get that transcribed, and then send it over to the copywriter. Or sometimes I go live on Facebook, like right now, or Instagram, and then I will get that recording transcribed and sent over to my copywriter to finalize. And then lastly, we kind of review the content one more time, make sure it's all edited and looks good. And at this point, we also add in the meta description to the Google Doc so that it's all ready to be put into WordPress. Everything that the WordPress person needs, it's all like set up in the doc. And then next I will send it over to my graphic designer to create the blog post graphics. And actually sometimes I do this as soon as I have the title ready, because really the title is all that she needs. And that's another reason why it's really good to do it earlier in the process so that your graphic designer has plenty of time to create the graphics before the post is ready to be published. So then I send the title over to her and she creates 2 Pinterest graphics, a horizontal graphic and a square graphic for each post. And then next I have somebody on my team add the blog post to WordPress as a draft post. They like walk through the Yoast plugin, make sure that everything looks good. They schedule the post for the correct date and time. I usually do Mondays at 6 a.m., but it's really like up to you, and I don't really think that the time matters that much, especially if you're creating an evergreen post that you want to just be available and have people reading at any time. And then also at this point, we would add an opt-in graphic into the post. So usually I'll promote something like my 5-day client challenge. I have a graphic already created for that. The person who is formatting the post just goes in and adds that a couple of times throughout the post and links that to the opt-in form or the landing page. And then finally, I go in and just review everything, make sure that it looks good, and then I send the final images and the link to my social media manager so that she can share it on all of the social platforms whenever it is going live. And then finally, we kind of move into content repurposing. So once the post has actually been published, I will go back and create other social media copy, newsletter copy, stuff like that based on the post. I actually just published a post all about content repurposing. If you want to go check that out, that's the process that we would then move through at that point. So yeah, that is the blog post writing checklist that I use every time I create a piece of content. I hope it was helpful for you to see the kind of thought process in my brain of how I have it all laid out. And this is also all set up in a workflow in Asana. So each of those steps that I just walked through, it's all in a workflow. And then basically every time I want to create a blog post, I just duplicate that workflow, delegate it out to all the subtasks out to my team members. And then that makes it really easy for us to complete the blog post in a timely manner and just make sure that we're completing all of the steps that need to be completed every single time.